Chris Tucker doesn't seem to be connecting with this audience? That's the question you asked me. And I said, well, here's why. And baby, when I said here's why, all comedy hell broke loose.
Just to go into it, one thing was this conversation about Chris Tucker has become a thing for you.
Indeed.
Why do you think people are triggered when it comes to your point of view on Chris Tucker, and what's your response to people feeling indifferent of what you had to say about Chris?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me again, Comedy Hype and the Comedy Hype crew. When you came to see me in Denver, Colorado, I had no clue, because I'm out of show business. I'm away. I'm into a whole nother life now. So when you came to see me, I gave my uncut, raw opinions about how I felt. But after I saw the comments and everything that went along with it, my mind was totally blown. And I had no idea that Chris Tucker had that much of an impact. And I don't think Chris did either. I mean, you never know until you know. I mean, you can't live in your own arrogance like I'm all that. You don't know until people outside of you tell you how they feel about you. And you asked me a deep question, John. Here's what you said. You said Chris Tucker doesn't seem to be connecting with this audience. That's the question you asked me. And I said, well, here's why. And baby, when I said here's why, all comedy hell broke loose. And I still back up what I said. I said Chris may be somewhere else in his comedy. And then I said Chris blew up too quick. And that's what I meant by that. Now let me explain when I said that. When you are a person of humor, when you are a comedian, you need time in the game, and it's called growth. A lot of people, when they get into it so fast, because they get into it at a certain time in their life, and at that time, there are certain things in that time that will come in your time while you are in your time. Chris was in a great time to do what he was doing, and he hit at a certain time. This is at the beginning of hip hop. This is at the beginning of Def Jam. Def Jam was at its embryonic stages when Chris was right there. Matter of fact, Def Jam bought Chris out. So Chris was one of the people that bought Def Jam out too. He was one of the stars of Def Jam. And he hit at a deep time. And then when Ice Cube got him, when he did, what was it, Fridays? When he did that character Smokey, oh my God. Every generation has their comedian. You know, Dick Gregory had his time, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Mr. Bill Cosby, the king of them all, Eddie Murphy. But then here come Chris. Chris came in the hip-hop genre. See, hip-hop was at its beginning too. Like, I say hip-hop became a culture like in 90. 89 and 90, that's when hip-hop became, it wasn't just music anymore. It became a way of talk. It became a lifestyle. Matter of fact, Michael Bivins, Biv DeVoe, they don't get credibility for starting the sagging, the jean sagging, everything. People don't realize, along with Another Bad Creation and Crisscross, those elements started the whole movement with the fashion. So the fashion became the way you talk. Everything everything changed. Chris Tucker was a part of that beginning of a new change for new minds who wasn't into comedy. So when Chris Tucker came with Def Jam, he came at a deep time, and then he came with Fridays, and then The Fifth Element, Money Talks, Rush Hour. So it came so fast at Chris. See, people don't realize it takes Chris was one of those rare breeds. It takes a long time for a comedian to get to that level where Chris went so quick. Because the normal structure of comedy, you do clubs, you travel around, you go through your peanut butter years. You do the clubs, you do this one, you do that one, you have road stories, you have all these kind of stories. That develops your character in the world of comedy. So that's called paying dues. Man, when Chris hit, bam, 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 he hit. So when he hit like that, it just, he flew. Meanwhile, while he was young and all that screaming and stuff, he was growing to be a man. He was growing to be a man. And then that's when I said Chris had to check himself. See, I'm going into a mind of a comedian. I'm not talking for everybody else that's not into the game. A comedian's mind is very dramatic. Like I said, comedy is no joke. Comedy is no joke. So when you are a comedian of humor, you got to tap into your drama, and then you can either go through depression, you can either drop out, you go through a variations of thing when you are a funny person. Okay, like I said, being funny has a lot of drama there. And so Chris had to find out, boy, where I'm at, because then you said he don't seem to be connecting because he's growing up in his comedy. And then when you're growing in comedy, you're not that smoky character no more. Now you got to find out who Chris Tucker is. See, you have to keep in mind, Chris did a lot of characters, but who is Chris Tucker? So Chris went through a personal journey going through himself with himself, okay? Chris Tucker, see, when you are a comedian, you are your own office building, okay? You are a comic. You are displaying what you have inside of you. And Chris had to go, whoa, I'm growing. I'm not smoking no more. I'm becoming this person. Who am I? And that's when you said he doesn't seem to be connecting. So you find him finding himself while he's on stage. Because when you are a movie star, when people come see you, they're coming to see the character. I mean, they're coming with movie in their mind. That's Chris Tucker. So you don't really have to work hard for that laugh because you're riding on your fame in the movie.
Well, one thing too is like, you know, this is a whole more so of a response on like people giving you that backlash. Do you think we've been programmed just to kind of like give Chris a pass without really analyzing it? Is it a thing that we do as some of our artists that we don't like, hey, we don't question them?
You said it. You're programmed. You never analyze. It's all about television. When you watch television, when you watch movies, you're programmed. That's why they call it programs. Your television program or your radio program. Study the word program. They're programming your mind. See? And when you have your own mind, when you're not a part of the program, that's different. Then you become an outsider because you're not a part of the program. So yes, you have been programmed for Chris. Yeah. And I really think that Comedy Hype has been the best. I know Chris watches Comedy Hype. This is good for Chris because I know Chris has begun to study himself because of Comedy Hype. And Chris, you owe me a check. Yes, Chris Tucker, you owe me a check because I gave awareness. I got people angry at me. People were pissed off, and people love you so much. They love you. And because they love you the way they do, I gave you a new love, and I gave you a new crowd, and I gave you a new wake-up call. And also, you owe Comedy Hype an appearance. I don't care about Netflix. I don't care about HBO. You should come sit down on this chair. I know what movies did for you, but Comedy Hype in this time of 2020, they gave you a new stardom awareness. So whatever you had back then before Corona, whatever that case, Comedy Hype has brought you up. So please put my check in the mail. Chris Tucker, thank you very much.